And now here's a book that was a blessing to me. I just cannot stop talking about it. It is the best thing that I found on net. What do you do, people? After 3 years of Ghor Parishtam, all that I got to know, I shared it with you. And now you want me to do more for you? Huh? I'm so sorry. It was just the narcissistic me wanting to believe that I'm important. Well, I know I'm not, because had I been important, you would have subscribed to my channel. 75% of you who watched my last video didn't subscribe to my channel. But it's okay. I don't expect you to subscribe to my channel just by watching one video. So here's another. And this time you should subscribe. Please do that. Please, please. Okay. So, last time when I made this video explaining you all that you need to know about the entrances of various universities, you asked me to share with you the books that I followed and the question papers which I wrote. That I solved over 100 question papers in 2 question banks. So you wanted me to tell you which were these question papers, how I got to get them. So in this video we'll talk about that, the books that I followed and the books that I recommend you to follow, and the question papers. The books that you need to study depend on the university you are aspiring for. So I would first suggest you to first go through the syllabus of that university to check for the previous year question papers if they are available and see what they are asking you, and then choose the books that you need to study as per the syllabus, as per the kind of questions they ask. So in this video, I'm going to talk about BHU, DU, JNU, EFLU, and University of Hyderabad, all the 5 that we talked in the previous video. Other than that, I'll think this video will also give you a kind of a cumulative approach of how you should look at the entrances. I'll also talk about those who haven't studied English in their bachelor's and want to do their masters in English. What should be their approach? How should they manage? So let's get in. So for BHU entrance, as I said, all you need to do is to follow the BHU syllabus, read all that is there in BHU. The summaries, I should say, read the summaries, and a basic information about the various writers that they have prescribed, something about them around the age in which they are living. So 75% of your job is done when you are done with the syllabus, the bachelor syllabus of BHU. But for the other 30%, that is the history basically that they ask, I would suggest you to go for this book, Pramod K. Nair, History of English Literature, a short history of English literature. It is the most objective book that I've found. Objective in the sense the kind of questions that they ask. And this book I would suggest you to be the beginning book that you need to follow for all other entrances. Even for DU and JNU entrance, this is your go-to book that you need to keep with you even till the last date of your entrance, because in this book you'll get everything that you need to do like everything that you need to know. If you want to know what is there in this book, I made this video in which I talked about the various books that I follow for history of English literature. In that I have talked very deeply about this book because I love this book. So I would suggest you go there. If not the whole video, just see this the part where I'm talking about this book, so that would make sense. And for this was for BHU. I got to know that there are some publications that publish books for entrance preparations for BHU, like MA BHU, just like the book that I have, one for DU. I have this book, I had this book for MA English for DU. So I've got to know that similar books are there for BHU as well. I cannot say much for those books because I haven't checked them out, I haven't read them. But if you are planning to buy one, I would suggest you to first go through its syllabus, match it with the BU syllabus, BHU syllabus, and check if they are 70% the same, then you can go for that book. It will always help you. For literary criticism, I have this book that was prescribed to us in our syllabus for BHU, and it is by Ramavad Dwivedi and Vikramadit Rai, and Dwivedi and Rai we used to call it. And it's a very nice book. Simple sahi hai, nothing much. Because I like this book because I didn't have to study anything separately for literary criticism, because this was enough. Because what do they ask? They ask you Plato, they ask you Aristotle, they ask you Longinus, Dryden, Eliot. All that was there in the syllabus, and then this book had enough. And then other than that, this book also has Horace and Quintilian, but they don't really ask in entrances. They don't really ask from all these. Aristotle, Plato, Dryden, and Eliot are their favorite. So if you know what these people are talking about, Arnold can also do, especially about his Hellenism. So if you are done with these people, you need not worry about criticism much. Other than that, I don't think there is anything left to talk about BHU. History is done, the whole syllabus is done. You can anyhow, even if you like कुछ भी कर लो, तुमको BHU में admission मिल जाएगा if you just focus on the syllabus and the history part, for which I told you to follow Nair. Yes, I am in my blanket and it's just too cold, so I'm not getting out of it. So okay, now coming to DU and JNU. I said both of their approach in their question papers are quite similar. You need to follow NTA syllabus for that. I would suggest you to check out some NTA net question papers. That will help you really a lot, because you know they just copy paste many questions from NTA net question paper, so that would help you a lot. Other than that, as I said, for history you can follow this, and if you want to do more, if you want to go for more, there is this book by Routledge. It is just there. The history of literature in English, the Routledge History of Literature in English. It is a very nice book, very concise as per what Routledge publishes. But yes, it has great insights that you can delve into. I have also talked about this book in that video of mine which I asked you to watch, so you can go there and just check out this book as well. It is a very nice book. I loved reading this book for my semesters and just for the basic understanding of. I have my class right now, so I'll be coming back. But abhi 10 minutes hai, so let's finish it up. Okay, so Routledge, yes, Routledge, it has great insights. It's a very nice book if you want to write answers, subjective answers to questions. It's a very great book, I said. But if you just directly jump onto this book, it may not be that beneficial. You really need to have a background first. So go for Nair. If you are complete with it, then go for Routledge if you want more. This makes sense? Now, as I said, DU has very few linguistic questions because linguistics is optional in BA syllabus of DU, and it literary criticism is also optional, but then they have just too many questions on literary theory, and I would suggest you to go for another Nair book, Pramod K. Nair's book. It is Contemporary Literary and Cultural Theory. It is a very, very lucid book. That's what I like about books. When books are not complicated, people say Peter Barry is for literary theory. I cannot, even for 30 minutes, just look at Peter Barry because he's just too much for me. I don't understand him. But then Nair is my man. I love him because of his language. They are just so lucid, even for a beginner. Everything he gives so many examples and such. He lays down pictures for you, and you just need to look at it, and then you know what he's talking about. So, Nair is my man. Go for it. He has everything that you need to know about literary theory in this book. So, I would suggest you go through it. I loved it, and trust me, if you just start reading any of Nair's book, be it history or be it cultural theory, any book of Nair, if you just start, you will not like, you're very unlikely, you're less likely to leave him midway. I don't know. So just go for this book for, what is it, literary theory. Okay. And for literary terms, people say Abraham is the best, M.H. Abraham, but I don't think he is my kind of a person again, because in Abraham everything is just, concised and, packed together. Like every single sentence of Abraham has 10 things to say, and then it becomes too confusing for a beginner. I can speak for myself. M.H. Abraham wasn't my person. My person was J. Cudden, and I have provided a PDF of his book as well in the drive, so you can check that out. It's a very thick book, but size doesn't matter. Yes, it's a very thick book, but you don't need to study the whole book, right? You just need to know a few terms, and you can do that with the book. It is again very lucid, very beginner friendly kind of a book. What I like about this book is it has a very developmental approach about it. So if you're talking about novel, it will start with the etymology of the novel, how the word was coined, and then the oldest novel, and it will, like, throughout centuries, how it developed and what it is right now in the present moment. It has everything. So for prose, for poetry, for sonnet, every single form, it has a very developmental approach. Many literary terms are also explained historically, why and how these were coined and why were they important, things like that. So Cudden, you will enjoy reading Cudden. All the books that I talked to you about, Pramod K. Nair, Routledge, Cudden, they are all very interesting books. The moment you will start reading them, you would not like to leave them, as I told you already. So